The human colony on Arden Station was quiet. Queen Lila stood on the observation deck, watching the outer orbit. Repo had come in of an unknown warship moving close to human space. The crew was tense. The silence felt heavy. Captain Eric walked to Lila. He was tall, strong, and confident. Beside him was Sergeant Claire, alert and careful. Jake, a young soldier, followed them closely. They had trained for years for threats like this, but the unknown always brought fear. "We do not know what they want," Lila said. Her voice was steady. "We must be careful. I do not want our people walking into a trap." Eric nodded. "We will investigate. We can learn what we are dealing with." The Queen gave orders. A small strike team would board the ship. Eric, Claire, and Jake would go first. Their mission was to gather intelligence and return safely. The rest of the fleet stayed in orbit, ready to intervene if needed. As the team approached the warship, the lights on their ship reflected off its dark hull. It was massive, silent, and deadly in appearance. No human vessel had ever been this quiet. Every movement felt watched. Once inside, the corridors were dark. Sensors showed movement, but no one was visible. Shadows shifted unnaturally. Jake shivered. Claire whispered, "Stay close. Do not separate." They moved forward, weapons ready. Every step echoed in the empty hallways. Suddenly, a shadow moved faster than human reflex. The predator appeared, tall and powerful. It was a human male in structure, but its eyes burned with intelligence. It did not attack at first. It studied them. Eric raised his weapon. "Identify yourself," he shouted. The predator did not respond. It circled silently, testing them. Jake took a step forward and the predator moved its head, speaking one word clearly and calmly. "Ember." The word hit the team like a strike. Silence shattered. They froze. It was not just a sound. It carried warning, command, and understanding at the same time. Claire swallowed hard. "What does it mean?" she whispered. Eric did not answer. He knew it was important. The predator moved with precision, avoiding their line of fire. Its presence was like a trap waiting to close. The team tried to advance, but the corridors seemed to shift around them. The predator anticipated their every move. Doors locked and opened on its command. Lights flickered to disorient them. The humans realized they were not just facing strength, faced intelligence, strategy, and patience. Queen Lila monitored from orbit. She could see everything through the ship's cameras. She spoke calmly, but with urgency. "Eric, remember your training. Gather intel and retreat if needed. Do not risk lives unnecessarily." Eric nodded, but his eyes did not leave the predator. He wanted to understand. Why did it say Ember? What was its purpose? The predator lunged suddenly. Jake fired, but the shot missed. Claire rolled and kicked a console, creating a spark that distracted the predator. They ran down a side corridor. Every step was careful. Every sound counted. They reached a junction. The predator paused. It looked at them once more and spoke again. Ember. Eric felt a shiver. The word was not just a warning. It was a signal, a test, a challenge. "We need to retreat and plan," Eric said. "We cannot fight blindly," Claire agreed, keeping her eyes on the shadows. Jake followed, heart pounding. The predator watched them leave, silent now, but its presence burned in their minds. As their ship returned to the orbit of Arden Station, Queen Lila prepared the fleet. The unknown threat was clear. Humanity was facing something powerful, clever, and dangerous. The silence had been shattered with a single word, and it would echo across every human mind for a long time. The story of Ember had begun. The strike team barely escaped the predator's ship. Jake's hands were shaking as he checked his weapon. Claire and Eric moved quickly, keeping alert. The corridors had been filled with traps, and they had only survived by quick thinking. Queen Lila awaited them at the base. She looked tense but calm. "Report," she said. Eric stepped forward. "The ship is designed to hunt, sets traps, controls doors, and watches our every move. The predator knows how we think. It is not just a fighter. It is smarter than any soldier I have faced," Claire added. It spoke one word. "I do not understand what it means, but it feels like a warning." Lila nodded. "We will need more than weapons. We need strategy." This creature may be human in form, but its mind is dangerous. Back at the base, engineers and scientists studied the intel the team had recovered. They found unusual energy patterns in the Predator's movements. Sensors had recorded its reflexes and decision-making. The data was unlike anything humans had seen. "We can make a weapon," one scientist said, "one that matches its strength and speed. We can predict its moves and counter them." Eric watched the plans closely. "We need to train for this. It will not fight like a normal enemy, thinks like a soldier, and hunts like a predator." Jake groaned. "I do not like thinking about fighting something that is smarter than me." Claire put a hand on his shoulder. "We all feel that, but we have no choice. We need to survive and protect others." For days, the strike team trained. They ran obstacle courses designed to confuse and mislead an opponent. They practiced hand-to-hand combat at high speed, learned to read shadows and predict movement. Queen Lila oversaw every exercise. She wanted them ready. Meanwhile, the Predator had not stayed idle. Scouts reported attacks on remote colonies. Automated defenses and humans were falling to a creature no one could predict. Each attack carried the same single word Ember spoken before the strike. Eric studied the attacks. He realized the word was a signal, but its meaning was unclear. Each use of Ember seemed to mark a pattern. He believed if they could understand it, they could control the situation. One night, Eric, Claire, and Jake reviewed the footage again. They saw the Predator pause, almost hesitate after speaking Ember. It gave them a small advantage each time. They realized patience and observation could work in their favor. Queen Lila called a meeting. "We cannot hide. The Predator will continue to strike. We will hit it first and force it to fight on our terms." She drew plans on the holoscreen. Strike teams would attack from multiple points. Traps would be set for the Predator. Weapons would be designed to exploit weaknesses. Claire asked, "What about Ember? Should we respond to it?" Lila looked at her with determination. "We will not respond blindly. We will use it. If the Predator signals, we will use it against it. Ember will be our weapon as well." The team prepared for the next phase. Their nerves were tense, but their determination was stronger. Jake checked his gear and tightened straps. Eric reviewed the strategy. Claire ran simulations on tactical moves. As the night fell over the base, a transmission arrived. A colony on the edge of human space was under attack. The Predator had moved again, and this time it was faster, more ruthless. The word Ember was spoken in the chaos, echoing through the colony. Queen Lila made a decision. "We move at dawn. No mistakes. The Predator thinks it controls the fight, but we will turn its intelligence against it. Humanity does not lose when it plans and fights together." The strike team listened and prepared. The hunt had begun in earnest. The Predator was clever, but humans were cleverer. The word Ember would lead them to victory or death. They would learn which. The quiet tension in the base was electric. Each human knew the fight ahead would test them beyond anything they had faced. The Predator was patient, but so were humans. The war was coming, and no one would back down. The base was alive with preparation. Queen Lila moved among the soldiers, checking weapons, monitoring strategies, and giving orders. Eric and Claire were in the training hall, running drills that pushed them to their limits. Jake followed, tired but determined. "Remember," Eric said, "the Predator does not fight like a normal human. It thinks ahead, predicts moves, and uses the environment. We cannot rely on strength alone." Claire nodded. "We need to adapt faster than it does. Speed and planning are our weapons." Scientists worked around the clock. New armor was reinforced, energy shields were tested, and weapons were modified to penetrate the Predator's defenses. Sensors were enhanced to track even the slightest movement. The humans were preparing for a war unlike any they had fought before. Meanwhile, reports came from outer colonies. The Predator had struck again. Small teams were eliminated quickly, and the word Ember was heard before each attack. Survivors described it as a warning, almost a promise of death. Fear spread, but determination grew stronger. Eric studied the patterns. He noticed the Predator returned to certain points after attacks. It seemed to have a hunting ground. He shared his findings with Queen Lila. "We can set a trap," he said. "If we place soldiers and weapons in the right positions, we can force it into a kill zone." Lila approved. She organized teams to coordinate attacks, ensuring no human outpost was left vulnerable. They would not fight blindly. Humans would control the battlefield. Jake trained with heavier equipment. His movements were slow at first, but repetition made him faster and stronger. Claire guided him, correcting mistakes and teaching him to read shadows and anticipate danger. The Predator is clever, Claire reminded him. It will test your fear. Never show it. Eric spent hours with simulations. Every scenario played out differently depending on the Predator's choices. He studied each possibility until he understood its style of hunting. Patience was key. Humans had learned that cleverness and discipline could beat even raw power. Queen Leela called a council. "We will attack at dawn," she said. "Our target is the Predator's main patrol route. We will lure it in, then strike with all our forces. If we succeed, it will not escape this time." The night was tense. Soldiers checked weapons, recalibrated shields, and practiced maneuvers. Every step was precise. Every sound was monitored. Eric and Claire reviewed the plan for the last time. Jake went over escape routes, ready for anything. At first light, the fleet moved into position. Small teams took hidden locations using cover and terrain. Drones hovered silently, recording every movement. Humans waited, ready to strike at the right moment. Then the Predator appeared, moved with speed and precision. Every step it took seemed calculated, every glance searching for weakness. It paused and spoke the word Ember, clear and commanding. Eric felt a chill, raised his weapon, signaling the teams. This was the moment. The Predator lunged at the nearest human squad. Soldiers fired, shields activated, and traps were triggered. Explosions shook the ground, smoke filled the air, and the Predator reacted instantly, avoiding attacks with skill and intelligence. Claire moved behind, flanking the Predator, while Jake provided cover. The battle was chaotic. Humans had power in numbers, but the Predator had speed and strategy. It felt like a dance of death, each side anticipating the other. Queen Leela watched from orbit, directing forces and monitoring casualties. She spoke to Eric calmly. "Keep pressure. Use Ember against it. Force it to react on our terms. It cannot win if we control the fight." Eric nodded, realizing the key was patience and understanding. The Predator could be beaten, but only if humans stayed clever, coordinated, and fearless. As the first wave of attacks ended, both sides paused. Humans were shaken but alive. The Predator remained on the field, calculating the next move. The battle had begun, and the war was only starting. Humans had learned that courage, intelligence, and strategy could challenge even the strongest hunter. The word Ember echoed in their minds, a warning and a challenge at the same time. The strike team prepared to enter the Predator's stronghold. Queen Leela gave the orders. Stealth suits, silent drones, and weapons were ready. Eric led the team with Claire close behind and Jake supporting. Every step was measured. It could not make a mistake. The corridors of the stronghold were dark and narrow. Sensors flickered as they moved. Every corner could hide danger. The Predator's presence was strong. It had learned from their previous attacks and set traps for anyone who dared enter. Claire whispered, "We stick together. Watch every shadow." Eric nodded. "We know what we are facing. Stay sharp." They encountered human soldiers controlled by the Predator. They were forced to fight without hesitation. Eric used careful strikes to disable them, avoiding unnecessary harm. Claire covered their rear, while Jake helped carry injured soldiers. The enemy moved fast, but humans moved faster when they worked as one. As they advanced, the Predator spoke again. Ember, the word echoed through the hall, but this time it felt different. It was a warning and a test. Eric realized the Predator was trying to manipulate them, to make them hesitate. He stayed focused and signaled the team to move. Suddenly, a trap activated. The floor shifted, locking Jake in a small chamber. He shouted, but Eric and Claire fired at the locking mechanism. Sparks flew, and the trap released. Jake ran to their side, breathing hard. The Predator had been watching. It had planned every move. They reached a control room. Claire quickly accessed the systems. Lights flickered, doors opened, and security measures deactivated. Every action brought them closer to the Predator's central chamber. Eric felt tension rising. The Predator could appear at any moment, He checked his weapon and positioned himself at the door. Jake and Claire flanked him. Silence was broken only by the hum of machinery. The predator appeared suddenly, moving faster than human eyes could follow. It blocked their path. Eric fired, but the shots were dodged easily. The predator spoke again. "Ember?" This time the word seemed to pause it as if it remembered something. Eric realized the predator was not just a machine of war. It had a mind, and perhaps a memory. He focused, waiting for the right moment to act. Claire threw a small device that emitted blinding light. The predator flinched, giving Jake a chance to disable a defense system. Eric took the opening and struck with precise force, forcing the predator to retreat temporarily. They advanced to the inner chamber. Inside they found the control core, pulsed with energy, clearly the source of the predator's power. Claire immediately worked to disable it, carefully bypassing security locks and energy barriers. Eric and Jake guarded her, aware the predator would return. Every sound and shadow felt threatening. Finally, the core began to shut down. Alarms blared, but they had a small window to escape. The predator returned, its movements sharp and furious. It blocked the exit and spoke once more. Ember Eric understood now. The word could be used. It could trigger hesitation, confusion, or recognition. He focused, calm, and ready. The predator paused for a moment. The team used that instant to move past, heading for the extraction point. They ran through the corridors, every step measured and fast. Traps tried to slow them, but they anticipated the danger. Outside, ships waited. Queen Lila monitored, giving them safe paths. They climbed aboard and escaped the stronghold, hearts pounding. Eric, Claire, and Jake looked at each other. They had survived disabled part of the predator's power and learned more about its intelligence. But the danger was not over. Predator was still alive, still hunting, and the word Ember would guide its actions in the next battle. Humans had proven they could enter enemy territory and survive. Courage, planning, and teamwork had given them the advantage. Queen Lila knew the next phase would be harder. The predator was clever, but humans were cleverer. Back at the base, Queen Lila gathered the strike team. Eric, Claire, and Jake entered the command room. Maps, screens, and schematics of the predator's stronghold covered every wall. Lila's face was serious. "We know more about it now," Lila said. "But we also know it was once human. The word Ember is a key to its memory. If we use it correctly, we can turn it against itself." Eric frowned. "Are you sure it will work?" "It could attack us instead," Lila nodded. "We take the risk. The alternative is letting it strike first. Humanity cannot wait." Scientists worked tirelessly to understand the predator's mind. Neural patterns, reflexes, and speech were studied. Every detail could be used to manipulate it or predict its actions. Claire watched the simulations, memorizing every move and pause the predator made. Jake followed her, absorbing strategies like a sponge. Eric focused on tactics. He reviewed every attack and ambush. He noticed that after it said Ember, the predator hesitated for a fraction of a second. That pause could be exploited. Patience and timing would be critical. Queen Lila called a council of soldiers and commanders. Explained the plan. The strike team would lead a mission to trigger the predator's memory. They would enter its lair again, this time using the word Ember strategically. The predator could either fight blindly or pause long enough for humans to gain the upper hand. Claire spoke up. "We will need full coordination. Every movement, every step must be precise. We cannot give it an opening." Jake swallowed hard. "I still do not like the idea of facing it again." Eric put a hand on his shoulder. "Fear is normal. We have trained, we know its moves, and we have Queen Lila's support. We can do this." Preparations took hours. Stealth suits were upgraded, weapons reinforced, and drones set to scout ahead. Simulations ran again and again until every possible scenario had a response. Humans would strike fast, coordinated, and without hesitation. Dawn, the team boarded their ship. Queen Lila monitored from orbit, her voice calm but firm. "Remember, we lead, we trigger Ember, and we control the fight. Success depends on focus and teamwork." The predator's lair appeared on sensors. The corridors were dark, traps waiting at every corner. Eric led the team inside, moving silently. Claire monitored systems, disabling hazards, while Jake followed, weapon ready. They reached a junction where the Predator had ambushed before. Eric whispered, "Wait for it. Watch the pattern." Shadows shifted. The Predator appeared, as fast and deadly as ever. It looked at them and spoke the word Ember. This time, Eric stayed calm. He repeated the word softly. Predator froze, its movements slowing. Human memory flickered in its eyes. Claire acted quickly, disabling a defense system while Jake covered her. The Predator hesitated again, the word Ember echoing like a key in its mind. Eric took the chance and moved forward, striking with calculated precision. The Predator reacted, but not as fast as before. Humans had forced it to pause. They advanced carefully, disabling more systems and taking control of critical areas. The Predator roared in frustration, but could not regain full control. Its mind struggled against the memory the word had triggered. Queen Leela watched and spoke softly. "Hold the line. Use every advantage. This is the moment humanity shows its strength." Then the strike team pushed forward. Every step was a victory, every movement calculated. The Predator fought, but hesitation slowed it. Humans adapted, struck, and gained ground. Ember had become a weapon in their hands. As they reached the inner chamber, Eric realized the battle was far from over. The Predator still had strength and cunning, but humans had proven they could fight not just with weapons, but with mind and strategy. The next move would decide everything. The strike team moved deeper into the Predator's lair. Queen Leela watched from orbit, coordinating with other teams. This was the final phase. Humans had prepared every weapon, every plan, and every tactic. They would not fail. Eric led the team, with Claire beside him and Jake following. The corridors were silent but tense. Traps were everywhere, and the Predator's presence was strong. Every step felt dangerous. Suddenly the Predator appeared. It moved with speed and precision. Its eyes glowed with focus. It spoke the word Ember, loud and commanding. Eric held his ground and repeated the word softly. The Predator hesitated, just like before. This pause was enough. Humans attacked together, coordinated, precise. Soldiers fired, shields activated, and drones blocked attacks. Claire moved to disable security systems while Jake covered her. Every move was calculated. The Predator dodged some attacks but could not react fast enough to everything. Humans had learned its tactics and used strategy to control the fight. The Predator lunged at Eric strong and fast. Eric dodged and struck carefully, targeting weak points. The Predator growled, frustrated by the hesitation Ember caused. It tried to recover, but humans kept pressure. Queen Leela spoke over the comms. "Keep moving. Stay coordinated. Use Ember to control its mind. It is clever, but humans are cleverer." The Predator blocked the corridor, forcing the team to split. Eric and Claire went one way, Jake the other. They used shadows and cover, avoiding traps and returning fire. The Predator moved with lightning speed, but humans anticipated its actions. Eric called out Ember again. The Predator froze briefly, its human mind reacting. Claire and Jake took the moment to disable more defenses. Strongholds shook as alarms blared, and energy systems failed. The Predator roared in frustration, but humans kept advancing. Eric confronted it directly. They clashed in hand-to-hand combat. The Predator's strength was immense, but Eric used training, precision, and timing. Every strike was measured, every move countered. Claire joined, attacking from the side. Jake disabled a nearby weapon system, removing the Predator's advantage. Together, the team pressed forward. The Predator faltered, its mind distracted by Ember. Queen Leela directed reinforcements. Squads moved in, taking key positions. Humans surrounded the Predator, forcing it to fight on multiple fronts. It was clever, strong, and fast, but humans had learned to adapt. The Predator stumbled for a moment, the word Ember echoing in its mind. Eric seized the opportunity, striking a critical point. The Predator roared, staggering, confused between human instinct and memory. Claire moved to secure the control core. She bypassed the last security locks and deactivated energy barriers. The Predator tried to stop her, but hesitation and the team's pressure prevented it from reacting fully. Eric and Jake held the Predator back. Every strike was precise, every movement controlled. They had learned to fight not just with strength, but with strategy. Humans were patient, clever, and united. Finally, the Predator faltered completely. The control core deactivated. Ember had triggered its human memory and disrupted its programming. It stumbled, breathing heavily, confused and exhausted. Humans had won the fight, not just with weapons, but with intelligence, teamwork, and courage. Queen Lila watched quietly from orbit. Humanity had proven its strength. The Predator was defeated, controlled, but alive. The battle was over, but the war had taught humans a powerful lesson. Courage, strategy, and unity could overcome even the deadliest hunter. Eric, Claire, and Jake regrouped, exhausted but victorious. The Predator looked at them with human eyes now, recognition and understanding in its gaze. Humans had not just survived, they had conquered. The word Ember had become more than a warning. It was a key, a weapon, and a symbol of human strength. The Predator lay still, its breathing heavy. The control core was disabled, and the word Ember had triggered its human memory. Queen Lila ordered the strike team to stand down, but remain alert. Humans had won, but the battle had left scars on everyone. Eric stepped closer, keeping his weapon ready. He studied the Predator, seeing not just a hunter, but a human trapped inside. Claire and Jake flanked him, watching every movement. "We are not your enemy anymore," Eric said calmly. "You can fight with us or remain isolated. The choice is yours." The Predator looked at them with human eyes. Recognition and confusion mixed in its gaze. The war instinct still lingered, but Ember had opened a path to reason. Slowly, it lowered its stance, showing it could understand. Queen Lila addressed her team. "Prepare for reintegration. We will not destroy what can be saved. Humanity does not kill without cause. We fight to protect, but we also offer a chance to join." The base began preparations. The Predator was escorted to a secure area where scientists monitored it closely. They studied its abilities, learning from its strength, speed, and strategy. Every detail could be used to strengthen human defense. Eric watched quietly. "We have gained an ally, not just a victory," he said, nodded. "It may still be dangerous, but now it can be controlled, guided, and trained. It will fight for humans, not against them." Jake looked at the Predator, still cautious. "I never thought I would see the day when the hunter became part of our side." Queen Lila smiled slightly. "This is what sets humanity apart. Courage, intelligence, and mercy make us strong. We win not just by killing, but by understanding and adapting." Over the next days, humans trained the Predator. It learned to respond to commands, coordinate with squads, and use its abilities to protect colonies. Eric, Claire, and Jake were its first handlers. They tested it in simulations and field exercises. The Predator grew accustomed to humans, following commands while retaining its deadly skill. The word Ember became a symbol. It reminded everyone of the turning point when fear was overcome by strategy and enemies became allies. Soldiers repeated it in training, not as a threat, but as a mark of human cleverness and courage. Queen Lila addressed the fleet. "Humanity has survived a deadly threat, turned it into an ally, and learned the value of teamwork and intelligence. The galaxy will see humans not just as fighters, but as leaders who adapt, plan, and dominate when necessary." Colonies rebuilt after the attacks. Humans strengthened defenses, shared knowledge, and integrated the Predator's abilities into their plans. Peace returned, but readiness remained. Humans understood that threats could appear again, and only unity and intelligence would keep them safe. Eric, Claire, and Jake stood on the observation deck. The Predator stood nearby, now calm, watching the stars. Humanity had faced the deadliest hunter and survived. They had proven their strength in courage, planning, and action. Queen Lila looked at the galaxy from orbit. She knew humans had changed. They were stronger, smarter, and more dangerous than any enemy could predict. The Predator's defeat and alliance were proof that humanity's mind, will, and teamwork were unmatched. As the sun rose over human colonies, Eric whispered to Claire and Jake, We survived. We adapted. We won. The Predator uttered Ember quietly, not as a threat, but as a signal of understanding. Humans had shown the galaxy that even the most lethal opponent could be turned into an ally. Intelligence, courage, and unity had created a weapon stronger than any technology. Humanity had proven once again that it would never be underestimated.